Welcome back, everybody. It's Alex again. So I kind of like these informational videos for you guys. Basically today I'm going to start talking about what to bring when you're a co-angler. Kind of not super in depth, but enough to help you guys out to understand what to bring, what to remember to bring, stuff like that. So we'll start with the bag. So it's a good idea to have obviously a bag of some kind. This is just a normal Field & Stream bag. You probably get it at Dick's Sporting Goods. Not a huge bag, just a bunch of pockets, and you can stack a bunch of boxes inside. So this one's, it's all you pretty much need. I mean, anything more than this, your boater's probably gonna be a little mad that you have a ton of stuff in the boat. Even this is kind of big. But so just to start off, I usually bring a separate little bag. This is basically just a zip-up Plano bag. Has all my drop shot stuff, my Ned rig stuff, basically small plastics. That's pretty much it. Packed to the gills, as much as I can hold. I always bring a measuring board. Every boat's probably gonna have one anyway, but you know what? Instead of bothering the boater, I got one in my bag already. Grab it out, throw the fish on it, measure it, throw it back, and put it in the live well. Kind of leading to the next point. Bring a culling system. Super inexpensive, probably 20 bucks at Dick's Sporting Goods, little clip-on, bang, throw it in the live well when you get in the boat right away. All said and done. So basically, moving into the bag, I usually keep at least a multi-tool. You get your own, bring your own pliers, stuff like that. Stuff you don't think about, like when you're not on your own boat or with your own, all your stuff with you. Pliers, scissors, two biggest things. Especially if you're running braid, scissors are your best friend. Probably the most important box I think you need to bring, terminal tackle. Basically my most important box that I ever bring. This has your drop shot hooks, your Ned rigs, your shaky heads, your drop shot weights, nail weights, bullet weights, bobber stoppers, hooks, flipping hooks, weedless hooks, everything you can think of, that's in your box right there. This basically has everything I will need for an entire day, probably more than a day's worth of fishing. That's probably my most important box that you can bring. And that's always with me. So that's the first box. And I have a decent amount of boxes in here that I can fit, especially with the Plano boxes. They're low profile like those ones, and they fit a lot in here. So not all of them are Plano, but this one's going to be your jig box. Definitely try to work every part of the column, the water column, if you're out there. Most times when you're a co-angler, you're not out there, practicing days before. So I always like to bring jigs, obviously packed full with jigs, vibrating jigs, finesse jigs, weedless jigs, everything you can think of right there. All kinds of colors, black and blue to white to chartreuse to, green to pumpkin to, everything in between. So next box, most important, jig box. Okay, now moving on to moving baits. I have one box, has every type of water column, every type of color for crankbaits. Basically, I have anywhere from medium divers to deep divers to, to square bills, to lipless, every sort of color you can possibly think of, shad color, black and red, chartreuse, sexy shad, stuff like that. So definitely not a bad box to forget about. One tournament, which I definitely could have used them at, I was like, nah, you know what? I'm probably never going to use them there. Left my crankbait rod back at the hotel. Left this entire box back at the hotel, and guess what we ended up using? Crankbaits. So not a bad thing. That helps you with the whole water column. Like I said, just have something for every part of the water column. Bottom, moving baits, obviously deep divers, medium divers, square bills for, closed cover, stuff like that. Don't forget anything, stuff like that's definitely important. Soft plastics. So what I usually do, I have a ton of soft plastics. I'm sure a lot of people do. What I'll do is when I get there, I'll have everything in individual boxes. But then what I'll do is I'll actually make a kind of like a smorgasbord. I'll have a bunch of stuff in one box. I'll combine a couple things because, obviously we can't bring everything out there, and I don't want to bring, an entire boat worth of stuff on somebody else's boat. So I typically, what I'll do is I'll bring, an assortment in one box like that. and then I'll bring like swim baits and and other stuff like float trailers, stuff like that in another box. Just to cover all ends of the spectrum with it. Moving to the other part of the water column, you got the top water. Definitely not something you forget about. I have frogs in here, I have buzz baits, I have poppers, I have spooks, I have buzz baits, basically everything you can think of inside for top water in this box. You don't want to be out on the water and be like, oh, I should have brought this. I've done it, not cool. We got to a spot on Potomac River, first thing on the second day in the morning. I was like, I didn't throw a top water a single time the first day. I don't think I'm going to be throwing a top water today. Guess what my boater did as soon as we got to a spot first thing in the morning? It was a little drizzly. I was over top of a weed bed on the corner of the river, or on the point of a river. Started throwing a spook immediately, or a popper, I'm sorry, a pencil popper. Started throwing a pencil popper, smoked. Back to back to back, you call 3 keepers. And I'm over here like this. Oh, where's my top water? Don't want to do that. So, big thing, like I said, this is not a big bag, but I can fit a bunch of stuff in it because, just over time I've realized how much I can fit in it and what I should fit in it to, give myself the best percentage, the best odds to catch fish out of tournament. All that is in this box. What I'll typically do is throw like my sandwich and stuff like that in the front pouch, my waters, my Gatorade, stuff like that. On the side pouches, I'll throw all my extra line. Big thing, especially if you're running leaders. I'll bring extra spool of like 15-pound fluorocarbon. I'll bring extra spool of like 8-pound fluorocarbon, and then an extra spool of just like braid just in case. I'll throw all that in like the side pocket, keep it in there, and then the other pocket I'll throw my cold tags and stuff like that in, or if I like need extra waters and I know it's gonna be a hot day, I'll throw it in the other side. So rods are a big thing for me as well. What I'll do is I'll kind of gauge, obviously some people don't have a ton of rods. I have anywhere from 10 to 15 rods. What I'll do is I'll pick basically based on all my stuff in my tackle box. I will always bring 2 spinning rods. I don't care where it is, I don't care where you are in the country, bring 2 spinning rods. Because, one, I have a medium light, that's just far rod on the right side. Medium light, you can throw finesse jigs, you can throw drop shot, you can throw a shaky head on it. Pretty versatile. And you can throw, anything in between. It's not, I'm not saying you can't throw anything else like a wacky rig or anything like that, or a Ned rig. Absolutely can. And then your second one's gonna be a little heavier. I have a straight up medium St. Croix Mojo bass rod. It's medium light. Mediums for a little heavier jigs, a little heavier everything else, basically. If you're in thicker cover, you got weeds, you got hydrilla, you got everything in between. Perfect. 2 spinner rods, no matter what. Always bring 2 spinner rods. Then you got crankbait rod. I usually bring a little bit of a stiffer crankbait rod. This is a medium heavy Mojo glass. Whether you're throwing deep divers or you're throwing, square bills, it'll get it done. So you're good there, you're covered there. Then you got your top water. This is a medium heavy Mojo top water rod. You throw spooks on it. I have straight 50-pound to 65-pound braid on it, depending on where I'm fishing. And I'll throw a frog on it, I'll throw a popper on it, gets the job done. Then you have your straight jig rod. This is a little bit of a shorter rod. I believe that's also a medium heavy. Throw everything jig-wise on it. You throw anywhere from, I think it's 1/4 ounce to 3/4 of an ounce on it. Again, gets the job done with that. All these are versatile rods. They're not specifically, hey, you have to throw a deep diver on this. No, you don't. I've thrown everything in between for every one of them. Last but not least is a flipping stick. I always bring a flipping stick. Whether it's heavy cover or open cover, doesn't matter. I will throw, a bullet weight with a 2 bobber stopper or a bobber stopper on that, anywhere from, 3/8 ounce to 2 ounce on it. And, it's great to have, especially where we live, whether it's Cayuga or St. Lawrence, there's some thick cover. The Chesapeake Bay, thick cover. When you get a 4-pounder or something like that stuck under a dock or behind a pylon in the Chesapeake, you want to be able to have a backbone to pull it out. So another great thing to have. So I'll always bring between 5 and 6 rods on the boat, on somebody else's boat with me. Again, I always double check with them just to make sure, but that's what I bring. If they say, hey, can you just bring 1 down? Like, hey, can you bring 5? Haven't had that happen yet, but hey, I would be more than happy to because I'm on somebody else's boat. So Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If any of you guys are co-anglers or looking to be a co-angler, hopefully that was informational. Hopefully it helps you guys out. So if you liked it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll catch you guys on the next time. Thanks for watching. See ya.